Up next, an area artist is turning trash into treasure and a sculpting career in the process. Meet him next in Made in the QCA.
You have more than likely seen how artists can take a blank canvas and turn it into a masterpiece.
But artists certainly don't limit themselves to canvas and paint. In fact, they use a variety of materials. In tonight's Made in the QCA, we show you how yesterday's news teamed up with a little tape and glue is making a Muscatine artist's visions come alive.
You've seen concrete lawn ornaments in people's yards. Well, somebody had to sculpt the original for them to make the mold and pour the concrete.
But while many sculptors toil with clay, Eric creates using many of the items you and I have already used and discarded.
Just build an armature out of cardboard, the basic template, basic shape of a given animal. Then masking tape, newspaper for the muscles, and then the skin. The texture itself is actually the paper towels and glue.
And a lot of hours, late night hours, usually from midnight to 5 a.m., making the most of his talents and the most of a disorder.
Manic depression. And it used to be an enemy of mine, but I've learned to turn it into an ally. That energy, when channeled into something positive, especially creatively, it's just, you know, incredible.
And his buyers say the work coming out of his Muscatine studio / mother's basement is incredible too.
When you're done, when the fever lifts and you're standing there and there's a product finished in front of you, it's difficult for me to actually remember how I did it because the universe just ceases to exist when I start that focus. You can't buy dragon eyes out of any of the taxidermist catalogs.
Now, perhaps the most challenging part of making artwork like this in his mother's basement is getting the figures back out here for the finishing touches to be added. As a matter of fact, before this gorilla could come outside, he had to have a little minor surgery. His feet had to be removed. And, of course, reconnected. But Eric has really big plans for his sculpting and modeling business. There. He's also right now trying to get his work on the World Wide Web so other people can check it out and see exactly what he's doing in his mother's basement.
I like that gorilla. You should have brought it back for us.
I couldn't fit it in the car. It's like he couldn't get out of the basement.
He does great work.
Yeah. Is it light or heavy?
Very light. Very
like
light, about 10 to 15 pounds.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
I'll be darned. Fascinating stuff going right on here in the Quad City.
And it's just regular stuff you might find around your house. But one man has used it and had quite a wild time with it. That's next in Made in the QCA.
Well, his neighbors think he's a little on the wild side.
That's because a Quad City artist likes to take his creations outside for the finishing touches, turning a few heads with mountain lions, elephants, even dragons, all made in the QCA.
That are doing what I do.
And no one doing it quite like Muscatine artist Eric Fournier.
I started out as an illustrator, but I got tired of working two-dimensionally.
With the simplest of materials, rolls of tape, scraps of newspaper, paper towels, and glue.
The bulk of a given subject, as far as musculature and general shape, that's done with newspaper rolled up into cylinders and huge amounts of masking tape.
And tools that include a simple butter knife.
You want the grain of the fur, in this case, to lie.
And a tape measurer to ensure the work he makes in here can get out of here.
I've got exactly 23 inches to work with. If it goes 1 inch past that, I've got to use, at that point, that's when the chainsaw will come out.
A fate that may lie ahead for this house guest who now stands guard in the kitchen. Eric's focus, drive, and energy comes from an unexpected source. He explains that a disability actually gives him the ability to create.
Actually, I've taken that manic depression and turned it into an ally. It can be very much make a victim of people that suffer from it. But if you can take that energy and direct it positively with a vision behind it, really some remarkable things can be done with that energy.
Energy to bring more of these animals to life in the form of resin sculptures, some of which are already on display in a number of zoos.
I think it gives you a sense of purpose. I think it gives you something you can be proud of as an individual doing something this rare.
And we've made a link to that so you can see all of his work on our website at kwqc.com.
I was really impressed.
Yeah.
Every time they do an interview with me, they kind of, don't you think they kind of belittle me in a way? And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I'm talking about the way they approach it. Well, not that I think they should, establish a new orbit in their entire life. Just. Well, for example, the first time they did me, I was living in my mom's basement, and every 12 seconds, if not more, they'd mention I'm living in my mother's basement.
The work coming out of his Muscatine studio / mother's basement, perhaps the most challenging part of making artwork like this in his mother's basement. There, he's also right now trying to get his work on the World Wide Web so other people can check it out and see exactly what he's doing in his mother's basement, and in his mother's basement, and in his mother's basement.
The chicks, I had to beat the chicks off, the phone was ringing, so living in his mother's basement. And I'm like, wow, great. Can't ever hear that enough said about yourself. So this time it was
that is kind of ridiculous.
Unintentional, yeah. I'm sure, but this time it was oh, can you do some funny things for us? And I go, funny? I'm a Buster Keaton here? He goes, no, well, how'd you get that out of there and out here? How'd you get this? You sculpted it in there and you have it out here. And I go, well, I had to use the tape measure liberally. Well, let's do that. Let's get some shots of you measuring, pretending to measure stuff.
And a tape measurer to ensure the work he makes in here can get out of here.
I've got exactly 23 inches to work with. If it goes 1 inch past that, I've got to use, at that point, that's when the chainsaw will come up. Oh, let's get a shot of you opening the refrigerator and bumping your elbow into the dragon.
Fate that may lie ahead for this house guest who now stands guard in the kitchen.
It makes me look more wretched than even I present naturally to people.
Look at them yo-yos, that's the way you do it. You play the guitar on the MTV, that ain't working.